hit it, ha,
Sam
hit
and
it, ha. Oh God.
Women need, men go away. They'll be gone for a year. And then they'll come back and expect a woman to just be like, hey, open up. Hey, daddy missed you that whole year. No, we are a different creature. We have to get to know you. And that's how it is for an actor. Even though I'm playing a character, I still need to be comfortable with the person that I'm intimate with. And that has changed.
Definitely. I want to ask you, you were talking a couple years ago about Harvey Weinstein, and we see what he's going through. And you talked about a situation where he wanted you to come somewhere at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Does that kind of go along with all this, like the thing that goes on in Hollywood? Did you feel uncomfortable in that situation?
Right. Well, he asked a friend to see if I'd be interested. And, you know, I was not interested. And the friend, a male friend, you know, in Hollywood, a lot of business takes place in the strip club for a reason. It's because business and pussy go hand in hand. You know, it's not just Hollywood, but all over the world, men are inking $1 million deals on the golf course or in the strip club, and sometimes both. So a lot of times when you are trying to get investors, and in Hollywood, investors is 90% of the game. You will use your actor, your actress, to entice investors to sign on. And, you know, you can take a look at autobiographies or some of these biopics with women going back as far as Marilyn Monroe, Joan Crawford. That is a major component of getting the deal closed. Sometimes a pretty woman can get the deal closed quicker than 20 men in a boardroom or 20 lawyers or whatever. So yes, I have been used by men to further their career. And then, you know, I am just sitting here like, okay, is it my turn yet? And I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating, but it's also a part of my life journey. And I know my faith is so strong in God, in directing my journey, that I don't allow man's hate or, you know, man's evil plan to affect my love for the industry, for the art, for the hustle, because it's all in the hustle. When you get there, then what? Now you gotta hustle some more to stay there, but it's all in the journey. And, you know, when I was at the peak of my career, I was so bored. I was like, now what? You know, and I wasn't old enough, because I started so young. I got so much money so young, so many accolades, so much attention so young. I wasn't ready to say, okay, with the next stage of your journey, you will be offered roles that are fun, you know, like big budget roles. And I was like, I was offered some kids, not the Turtles, but something. I don't know.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, yes. And I was like, that's corny. But I wasn't thinking business. I was thinking as a child. And when you become an adult, when you become a woman, you begin to think as a woman. And it's hard in Hollywood because the youth are honored. And the youth, you give me, you know, $80 a week to do a TV show. I buy a house. I take care of my family. But, you know, I need that now. I got a son and a husband and a family, and more family has been, you know, when I was 20, what am I going to do with that money? You know, you invest, you have a business manager, you try to do the best you can for your future. But young people are not, I think Hollywood should change the format and give young people what they give us old folk, and give old folk what, you know, change it around. Because, you know, I'm not getting paid. And it is, of course, you know, it's not the 90s anymore. No one is getting paid as much as we were getting paid in the 90s. But I would love to have been getting the checks I was getting in the 90s now. And Hollywood, like, kind of made me pay for having a baby. They want you, if you're going to have a baby, it's got to be by one of them. You know, you have a baby, you better be by whoever. So, because I am from the Midwest and I need to be able to be free, to be able to express. I kept meeting these guys that wanted to lock me up, like take me to some bumfuck town because they had money and just sit there and not act anymore. You know, I kept meeting these guys that wanted me to be Joy from Friday and get in their ass and make them feel like I'm mommy. I don't know. You got a mommy. Why you got mommy issues? You know what I'm saying? I'm not mommy. But I realize all men need mommies. So, you know, I had to get to a place in my life where I dated someone who was right for what I needed. And God made that manifest. You know, it was hard for me to get into relationships with these Hollywood men because power is friggin' enticing. And you lose yourself. You lose your dream. You lose your goal. Powerful men want you to focus on them, you know. And some of my favorite actresses have gotten into those situations where they have lost themselves into their husband's career. And then maybe they'll wake up one day and have a midlife crisis. Oh, I want my career. And then they do some independent job. I'm very proud of Selma Hayek, who has navigated a marriage to an uber wealthy man into an independent production company that produces quality work for her, you know, and that's every actress's dream. But I wasn't meeting that. I was meeting, you know, people who weren't into, and because I guess I favor Black men. And when I did have a white guy, Black men were real mean to him. Like, they didn't want him to date me. They were like real mean.
But can I ask you this? Can I ask you this? Because it's very, you brought up Black men, and I wanted to ask you this. I'm very interested to know your take on Black men, in particular in Hollywood and just in society as a whole, because we talk on here often on the podcast and we feel as though it's almost an emasculation of the strong heterosexual Black man, not only in the household, on TV screen, and just in society in general. What's your thoughts on that?
The emasculation of the Black man has been in existence since, I mean, the beginning of time. They have always tried to belittle our men in a way that makes them, you know, unappealing to us. From slavery, when, you know, how am I going to want to have sex with this guy that massa has abused and beat and sexually harassed in my face to make me look at this man as beneath. So I believe that it is not something that has just, you know, started last week, because of the situation that we're in. And it's so funny because I was just thinking this the other day, like, God has a plan. I don't know if I would have wanted to stay in Africa. Like, do I want to have been from Africa? I don't know. I look at Africa and they look like they want to be out here with us. Every African person that comes on our show, and I'm like, I want to go to Africa. They're like, no. You'll stay here. You know, I have to hear it to get that. I gotta get there. But my African accent. But I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, everything that has happened to our culture, our people, has happened for a reason, to put us in a situation where we can excel, where we can create a whole soul that has never been duplicated, replicated, and everyone covets. It was necessary for us to be transported to a world, a country where we would allow our independent creativity to flourish. So that being said, you know, I'm looking at the whole world, how it emasculates certain men. You know, men dressing like women is still popular in England and in a lot of the white, you know, countries. So when we look at our men